Happy Sunday. Sorry for a couple second delay here, but I hope everyone's doing well. I was just checking my audio, making sure everything's clear. I see everyone in the chat here. I'm going to read out some names. Feel free to put your city, state, country, whatever you feel comfortable sharing. Let's get the party started. We got a lot to talk about from this past week. And spoiler alert, I've actually got a lot of clips that we're going to react to today, whether it's on CNBC, Yahoo Finance, XYZ personality talking about Tesla. There's a lot, right? So I think it'll be a really fun episode. Stick around. Now, let me catch up with the chat. Chadwick, how's it going? I'm getting a Rivian. Maybe how's it going? Our awesome mod. Bye-bye, Chanos. Yes, spoiler alert there. That's also in the title. Digital, how's it going, my friend? Happy Sunday to you as well. Marco from the Netherlands. For Johan, how's it going? From Sweden. We'll get into that comment later, Marco. There's some Swedish talk in the chat here. T-Bone from Sault Ste. Marie. How's it going, my friend? Arrow Cop from Denmark. And by the way, if you're joining in from, if you're watching on replay, I should add, feel free to throw it in the comments as well. I always read the comments there. Stockholm Epigenetics, how's it going? Please say, oh God, you guys kill me with this stuff. Smorgasbord. Wait, smorgasbord? That's not that bad, right? William, how's it going? Does Tesla go up by a quarter or a 1/5 tomorrow? Interesting way to frame it. We'll get into Tesla stock analysis here in a second. Mike, how's it going? From New England or NE Scotland, Northeast Scotland, Aberdeen. How's it going, Mark? Sanju, how's it going, my friend? Happy Sunday to you as well. Party is starting. Yes, Beachcore, party is starting. Michael, how's it going? From Austria, London, of course, Sanju. Paco from South Africa, Johannesburg. How about that, Ross G? Yes, we will be getting into that very shortly here. Toggy, how's it going? From hi, Juju Gang, he says. Nice that so many are here to discuss the new Prius. Nice, yeah, good one. Denmark, DRK, how's it going? Stockholm, Sweden, per Johan. Atlanta, DRK. Martin, how's it going? From New York, Alaska, Jeff. Switzerland, folks, we are worldwide. Santiago, Chile's Jupiter. My friend Richard, how's it going? Greetings. How's it going? Not legal advice. Yo, hi from Norway. Bjarnyar. Awesome. Okay, we got worldwide audience today. Without further ado, let's get into some Tesla stock analysis. Let me turn off the music here for a hot second. Now, what's interesting is, and there's so much news going on, and I feel like you don't even have to know what's going on to know what I'm talking about. But let's just get into some real basic Tesla stock analysis to begin the show, shall we? Okay. So in the last 5 days, Tesla stock is up 8.8%. Who would have guessed that? Be honest. The NASDAQ is up 2.4%. Of course, most of the jump came in on the 13th, or pardon me, the 14th of November, right? So, and that was Tuesday. So as we say, when we're talking about Tesla, it's funny because amidst all that's happened, right? And we talk about headlines, we talk about Elon essentially more or less getting canceled again for stuff he may or may not have said. Everyone essentially blasting Elon, even SpaceX yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys caught the headlines, but everyone wanted to paint SpaceX as this massive failure yesterday on the explosion, right? Side note, that really is kind of the problem with the average media house, right? And the average personality almost is that people don't consider failure as a stepping stones to success. Everyone considers failures as something that we can all point at each other and laugh at. Now, it's funny because I have Jim Chanos closing up shop in the title, and we're going to get into that in a second. So anyways, Tesla stock up about 9.5% or 8.5%. And if you care enough, Apple was up only 2% in line with the NASDAQ. If you care about Lucid was up 12.5%. And like some friends in, or I guess former Tesla community, if you care about Rivian was up pretty much the exact same amount as Tesla was in the past week. Okay. Wow, so many cities here. Okay, let's go. Netherlands, Xander, how's it going? Pim, Johnny. Wow, Sean, Francois, Chi-Town. Money, how's it going? PC, Abu Dhabi, Oliver. Xander in the chat as well. Launch is incredible. Yes. Hey, Xander. Oh, look at this. Awesome. We got a great community going on in chat. Let's continue it. Okay. Chadwick from Cleveland, of course. Okay. Missouri, Sacramento. Folks, you guys are just worldwide today. Okay. Anyways, so why do I poke fun at Rivian? So as you guys know, I made that video yesterday. I talked about how Ross Gerber essentially flipped on the Tesla community and said, look, I'm selling my Teslas. I don't want any part of this anymore. Elon is an anti-Semite. He is going berserk. I don't want anything to do with him. But on the same side, he said he's not selling his shares. And where did he say that? Well, on his CNBC clip that I'm about to show you here. But before we get into that, I made the point on my video when talking about Ross Gerber that it was interesting to me that the minute he flipped on Elon and Elon only, all of a sudden the product was crap to him. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about there, maybe I'll just actually pull it up real quick on my Twitter. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's namely this week right here, right? Model Y is like the Prius now. Rivians are sweet. So, I mean, flipping on the product because of what Elon says or doesn't say, to me was I had no, like, it really devalued his opinion in my book, because for a while I always listened to what Ross has to say, but the fact that he could flip so easily on an emotional basis on the product specifically, to me, kind of struck this as, okay, this is a very emotional person. Anyways, let's watch this interview. I haven't actually I've seen clips of this and I've clipped part of it out, but I haven't seen the entire thing. But everyone tells me that it's a must watch. Let me know if the audio is coming in clear. No audio? Okay, hold on one second. Thank you for letting me know. I'm glad I asked. Hold on one second. Let's see here. Audio input. Maybe my hold on one second. Echo cancellation.
Companies. And many of my clients care about what they own. And so when I have to spend my day basically either talking people out of Tesla.
Did you guys hear that? Is that coming in? Hopefully that. Okay, good. Okay, sweet. Thank you. So let's try that again. So again, this is Ross Gerber coming. Okay, awesome. Great. Thank you. So yeah, this is Ross Gerber on CNBC on Last Call. And what's interesting, by the way, before I even just play this, is CNBC did not clip this out to put on YouTube. So the only way you can find it is going on CNBC Pro on their site and logging in and finding it that way, or by going through ad blocker or something like that. So it's interesting that they did not clip this part out on YouTube.
As well, Ross Gerber joining us now. Ross, I mean, listen, terrible day. Just a very disappointing day on so many levels. Very troubling. Without getting into the meat of that content,
I'm not entirely sure what he means by very disappointing day, to be honest, because Elon specifically clarified his positions.
Are you selling your Tesla stock?
No, I'm not selling my Tesla stock. I'm an advisor for, lots of people who own Tesla stock. And my job is to invest in great companies. And many of my clients care about what they own. And so when I have to spend my day basically either talking people out of Tesla stock, or in a lot of cases, I just can't talk them out of it anymore. And not to mention just deflecting flack. I've just never had this with any company I've ever invested in ever in my life, where the CEO of the company himself does so many detrimental things that it just like is destroying the brand.
So Ross, interestingly enough, also had the same argument, if you guys remember, when Elon went on this political diatribe, 6-8 months ago, something like that. Do you guys remember when Ross said, no one in California is ever buying a Tesla ever again? The brand reputation is over. He kind of had the same arguments, and that's when he was running for the board of directors of Tesla.
And it's just, nobody on the board is going to stop him, that's for sure. But the bottom line is that's what's happening. And I'm just not going to mince words about it anymore as a shareholder. It's absolutely outrageous, his behavior and the damage he's caused to the brand. Simple as that.
He's not just the CEO. I mean, he's the founder and builder and face of the company. But many companies, their founders, their time comes and they move on. I don't know if that's the time now, but it sounds like you're saying that Tesla might be a better company in terms of just the way people react to its product and maybe to its stock if Elon Musk, who built it up, were to perhaps step aside.
You know, the truth is, Sully, he already has stepped aside. This isn't about me calling for him to step aside. He has stepped aside as CEO of Tesla. None of his actions are for the benefit of Tesla.
Okay. In the chat, throw in the chat. Has Elon, in your opinion, mentally, that's what the argument he's making, already stepped aside in your eyes as a Tesla shareholder, let's say, to Tesla? Has Elon, in your eyes, already stepped away from Tesla? Yes or no? Throw in the chat.
This moment, it's all about Twitter and what he can tweet and how many people he can piss off. He actually thinks in his weird world that the things he says matters. But
so that was specifically, and I see everyone saying no, no, no. Okay, so specifically, it was that point right there. If you guys caught that, where he said, Elon in his little world thinks that what he says actually matters, right? I found that very interesting because basically what he's saying is that no one listens to what Elon has to say, which is the entire premise of his argument. This entire premise is Elon should stop saying really weird things that we can all have to dig into the nuance of, because people listen to him, right? People listen to him. And then on the other side of the mouth, Ross says, no one actually listens to what Elon has to say. And so a couple good comments here. Oops. Couple good comments here. Hold on, there it is. Maybe it says Elon might not be racist or anti-Semitic, but he does support popular conspiracy theory about Jews hating whites. Plain simple to do this. And then Richard also, where was Richard comments? No, but stupid comments that are not helpful. So that's the other thing, is that you can, there's arguments to be made that should Elon really taper down what he has to say in public. And this is where the argument of free speech or Elon is the CEO, so he should really taper what he has to say in a professional environment. That argument that you see online is, if I had to pinpoint it, that is it right there, right? That is it right there. If Elon's an average private citizen, doesn't really own Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, isn't Elon basically. What he says, really, I don't think anyone really cares about. But the fact that he represents so many brands that we might be shareholders of, the question now comes in, should he have to taper down what he has to say in the name of protecting brand reputation? And that is in and of itself the argument.
What he's really doing is destroying everything he's built. And that's the super frustrating thing as a shareholder. And just as an investor, one has to look out at the long-term future of Tesla and say, if the CEO is willing to do all this stuff and nobody can stop him, founder, whatever you want to call him, well, what's going to happen to Tesla over the next 10 years? Are they going to achieve their mission if the CEO isn't actually the CEO? Because he's certainly not acting as the CEO of Tesla at the moment.
So there you go. Ross says right there that he doesn't think Elon is actually acting as Tesla CEO today, basically implying that Elon is doing no work when it comes to Tesla, and all he's talking about is weird conspiracy theories and advertising on X, which is a whole nother debacle here. And I saw that Martin had a really good comment on it, and we're going to get into that in a second.
Well, there's probably many people out there that are looking to buy Teslas that have no idea this is going on, right? They're not on X. They're not watching us now. They just want what they view as the best-in-class vehicle. But you and I all...
I would argue, by the way, what he just said is probably the majority of people. The majority of people really have no idea what's happening outside from a couple of headlines or what their buddy might say. But for the most part, when they go shopping for a new car, they're looking at specs. That is probably it.
Also probably know people, I know I do personally, who've said, I was going to buy a Tesla, but I just can't get on board with anything having to do with Elon Musk. You can disagree with that point of view all you want. Many people still love him, but I think he has driven away some buyers, I think.
It's not just some buyers. And this is what I say, to blame interest rates or whatever, we're past that now. We know just because Tesla's forced to continually cut prices on their cars to now a ridiculously cheap level to sell them, that this is 100% because of sentiment. It's clearly the best vehicle anybody could buy for the price. There's no doubt about it. But
whoa. Hold on. What did he just say? Let's just listen to that one more time.
To now a ridiculously cheap level to sell them, that this is 100% because of sentiment. It's clearly the best vehicle anybody could buy for the price.
It's clearly the best vehicle anyone could buy for the price. It's clearly the best vehicle anyone could buy for the price. Model Y is like a Prius now. Rivians are sweet. Huh. Okay. Anyway, sorry. I thought there was an echo in the room.
So, I mean, listen.
Oh, sorry, Ron.
I mean, there's no doubt about it. But why would you have to discount the vehicle over and over again, other than the CEOs talking people out of buying it? So I think we can move beyond this, sort of concept. It's a reality that people are avoiding the brand because of Elon, and it's hurting the company and it's hurting the shareholders. And worst of all, it's hurting the current owners of Tesla vehicles who've lost a tremendous amount of value in the resale.
Okay. So this comment here from RC saying market manipulation, Ross just wants to buy more shares. I really don't think so. In my opinion, I don't think it's that elaborate or anything. Just because I don't think the market's moving on what Ross is saying, right? No offense. But also at the end of the day, I think what Ross is speaking to is being a proxy for his clients more than he is trying to manipulate any sort of market price, in my opinion.
Value of our vehicles. I think it's somewhere.
And T. Nelly, I've marked your questions and I've starred them so I can come back to them.
Between 20 and 40 billion has been lost by Tesla owners. The people who bought Tesla cars and support Tesla have lost a lot of money in resale value because of this. And this is what
I mean, they've lost resale value because the cost of or the price of the car keeps coming down. That is the problem. It's not really what Elon is saying when it comes to resale values of the car.
Well, I think
it's not a personal thing.
To be fair,
dollars and cents.
Yeah, to be fair, that there is a slide there in a lot of the EVs because of the battery concerns. But to your point is well taken. It's a different price point. I get it, unless you're looking at a Model S. But does this benefit Rivian and the $90,000 pickup truck?
Oh, all right.
Well, it benefits Rivian in a core demo for Tesla. It's obviously Rivian's market isn't the mass Model Y market, but it's certainly head-to-head competitor to the Model S and X. And, these are major products for Tesla that are profitable. They might not be scaled to the level of Model Y, but what's happening is when consumers who can afford, a nicer car are making choices, they're choosing Rivians, and you're seeing them all over LA. It is what it is, and people are choosing other vehicles, and they have, I think Tesla's competition is still well behind them, but people are considering vehicles that they would have never considered because of this. And that's what I'm saying. My personal opinions aside, as an investor, I just want to try to understand how his actions benefit shareholders or Tesla car owners in any way.
So that is I'm going to make sure nothing else plays here afterwards. IBM announced. So that is the crux of the issue. And you know what's interesting, by the way? I just wanted to say this. I want to be clear. It's not about, this person supports Rivian, therefore they're wrong. No, it's not about that. You can support whatever EV manufacturer you want. I don't care, right? But it's when you specifically go and you're so gung-ho about something, let's say a product, and then something as emotional as someone, like a founder of that company, saying something you don't like, and now you don't like that product because you think another product's actually better, it makes me devalue what you had to say about the product to begin with. That is the issue, right? And there's a subtle nuance between that and me saying, because you don't like Elon, you cannot like Tesla now. Fair enough. If that floats your boat, go for it. But specifically, and I don't know why this it's just the illogicalness of this just irks me a little bit. But hating on the product and saying Teslas suck, actually, they're all Priuses. The Model Y is a Prius now. Rivians are where it's at because of something that the founder said. To me, is just, it strikes me as, you were just playing the whole time. Like, you didn't actually believe anything that you were saying, were you? That is it. I don't care if you like Rivians or, like, it doesn't matter to me. But it's just the fact that you were saying that you love the product and then now you hate the product because of something irrelevant to the product. That is it. That's what strikes me the wrong way. That is it. And again, at the end of the day, people have free speech. They can do whatever they want, ironically enough, as we're talking about it. But you know what's interesting, folks? Guess who came on? Where is he? Guess who came on CNBC to defend Tesla and Elon? And by the way, you know what? Maybe we will also open up at the end of this. Towards the end of the show, I'm going to open up with StreamYard's link so anyone can hop in the show. I think it might be a good week for people to call in the show and give their thoughts pro or against what's happened this week. But guess who comes on CNBC? our friend Gary Black. Let's see what he has to say.
Gary Black, future fund managing partner. Gary, you know, we've gone down this road in a different way in the past. I remember when we had a conversation just about the amount of time and effort he was spending on Twitter when he was acquiring the company and running it. Concerned you a bit at that point. How much does this concern you at this point with just what continue to be these decisions by him to engage on these controversial topics that seem to alienate a lot of people?
Well, look, we're investment managers and we get paid to find stocks that are going to, triple over the next 5 years. And our view is, despite remarks like he made, which we don't like, and I can't, embrace what he said or even condone it at all. I think the stock is still a great stock because EV adoption today is 12 and it's going to go to 60 over the next 7 years. And Tesla right now has about 16% share of that EV space. And with Cybertruck, a refreshed Model 3, and most importantly, a $25,000 vehicle, we think it can still, grow its volumes 30 to 35% a year. As a growth manager, I cannot find growth stocks that have volume growth of 30 to 35% a year, earnings growth of 40% a year, trading at 40 times. So, the investment question we have to ask is, will this impact the brand? I don't know if it's anti-Semitic what he said or not. I don't know if that's true. But what I'm trying to figure out as an investor, is it going to impact the brand? Is it going to cause consumers, rather than think about charging, convenience, and safety, and performance, and the technology, are they going to be saying, hey, it's run by a CEO who, embraced a post that talked about, hatred of one group versus another.
Right.
And I think at the end of the day, I think consumers are going to evaluate the product on its merits and not on the CEO.
So you're not worried then, Gary? I mean, again, and by the way, I said this earlier, I know a number of people who are close to, or at least somewhat close to Musk, and, they don't think he's an anti-Semite. I don't.
I don't
but
either.
he does make these decisions, Gary, to engage in things. By the way, he encourages it, though, by choosing to either post or point to certain tweets and the like. But you don't seem to think it's going to matter in terms of people's willingness to embrace the brand.
I think at the end of the day, Tesla has a best-in-class product. They are the best at manufacturing. They can drive costs down the quickest. And look, they've shown an ability to figure out what consumers are going to want long before GM, Ford, Stellantis, and everybody else. And I think that's going to continue. I don't want to comment on whether his comment was anti-Semitic or not. I don't know if that's important, but I don't think the consumer at the end of the day is going to hold the CEO's comments in their, what I call a purchase decision of whether to buy a Tesla. I could be wrong, but
No, okay, so you know what's really interesting? By the way, I generally agree, right? The general consumer, I don't think they even notice the headlines that happen, and this might blow over, and Elon's clarified that, no, that he's not pushing for hatred of anyone. But what's interesting is, do you guys not remember Gary Black when Ross was running for board of directors, and almost like Gary was almost running, and there was this huge push for the brand reputation is over in California because Elon is pushing all these right-wing policies and saying that, we should build a wall and, all this stuff. And, the brand reputation is going to kill Tesla's sales, and it has, and that's what's happening. And Gary was very staunchly saying, look, the brand reputation is taking a massive hit because of these political tweets Elon's pushing. But now when it comes to this controversy, Gary is saying that actually none of this matters when it comes to Tesla demand, because all that matters is specs and pricing. So I'm not saying that Gary's talking out of both sides of his mouth, but I kind of think he is here, because just a few months ago, he said the exact opposite. Now, maybe he's come to clarify in his point, and now he's saying, look, I was wrong last, but now I actually do think it doesn't matter. Or maybe it's the fact that he doesn't have the same amount of pressure from his clients coming that he did last time. So it's interesting. It's interesting to me. I'm just analyzing this a little bit and just looking at it from that perspective. And it's interesting seeing Gary say this.
that to me at the end of the day is what's the most important to think about.
Well, the decision.
Sorry, yes, Moon. Right. It was the Twitter overhang. when the Twitter overhang or the X overhang specifically happened, Gary was pushing for this huge overhang and the fact that people didn't want to buy Teslas because Elon Musk was associating himself with free speech and all these quote unquote right-wing things. But now when it comes to this controversy, Gary's saying, what Elon says actually never mattered. It's just about pricing and specs. Interesting.
Days about whether to buy a Tesla or any EV seems to be more about price and or the charging network and how inconvenient it may be. I mean, there seems to be a growing consensus. Maybe that's not the right word, but at least concern that EV growth is slowing. You don't seem to share that concern.
The data doesn't support that, David. When you look at the data, and we publish it every quarter, you could see that in the third quarter, EV adoption globally is at 12%, and fourth quarter, it's growing nicely. So could you say the growth has slowed? Yeah, it's slowed, but it's not going down. And as long as you continue to see, as you've seen in Norway, as you've seen in the Netherlands, as you've seen in China, as long as EV adoption grows from, again, do the math, 12% globally to 60, and that's our forecast, but others have forecasts that are similar, between now and 2030, you're going to get 35% volume growth. And then the question is, how much is pricing going to come down by? Cybertruck is going to be priced, and that's coming out, at the end of the month. That's going to be a $70,000 vehicle. So while I do think you're going to see some pressure on pricing, you're going to see some offsetting products like Cybertruck that are going to cause pricing to continue to move higher, average selling price. And I think that the big investment question is, have auto gross margins bottomed? They hit 16% in the third quarter because, as you know, they took pricing down. Have we seen the last of that? And what we've seen the last couple of weeks is prices have actually started to go the other way. They've had 3 separate price hikes in China, and the rumor is that they're going to have another one next week. So as long as I believe that A, EV adoption can continue to grow from 12 to 60, which is what we're thinking, and B, the gross margins have bottomed, you want to be in this stock at 55 times earnings, putting up 40% earnings growth, regardless what Elon Musk is saying. I do think also that Elon's a smart guy. I've seen him in the past where he'll say something that, later he realizes it's not so smart and he will delete his post. I would be surprised to see him not talk about this topic for a while because he's got 120,000 people who work at Tesla who depend on the Tesla brand staying, the strongest in class. And I don't think he wants to hurt those 120,000 people if all of a sudden the consumer's saying, I'm not going to buy Tesla because the CEO is making dumb comments.
So, okay. And you know what? What's interesting is what I think people forget a little bit. And by the way, we just got a breaking news tweet from Elon. Hold on, let me just pull this up. Elon replied to David Sachs' tweet saying, Thiel's Law, a startup messed up at its founding, cannot be fixed. Elon Musk says Tesla was insanely messed up at its founding, but now it's worth $750 billion. Also, while I have an immense respect for Peter's intellect, he did explicitly pass on funding Tesla at a $70 million valuation, despite being offered priority shares. Interesting. Now, if you guys didn't hear the piece of news that came out this week, short seller. Oh, God, hold on 1 second. Continue. Oh, God, hold on. I got an ad blocker I got to take off first. So 1 second. Hold on. All right, refresh. So Jim Chanos, infamous Tesla short seller, just was on CNBC last month saying Tesla's insanely overvalued. Who called Enron's fall, that's kind of his claim to fame, right? Is converting his hedge fund to a family office. Let's just call it what it is. He's closing down his fund. Renowned short seller, CNBC says, Chanos is converting his hedge fund to a family office. He will no longer be running a limited partnership or an offshore fund, and he'll be returning external capital to investors. Well, the move occurs after the S&P is up nearly 18% year to date and has gained more than 7% in November alone. There's a little photo of him from 2022. So if you read this, it's funny because this is such a puff piece, right? Chanos is notable for shorting Enron. He short Tesla because of all the competitors. He's so amazing. You have a reputation, a repartition of capital. You must have Chinese BYD capitals, taking market share. Tesla trades at a premium. Basically, Tesla sucks. You should short the crap out of it. Look what's happened this year. Still, Tesla shares have rallied 90% this year. And he says, the idea of a Fed put and the Fed is always going to be there to bail out my bad investment decisions is really not cognate to my investment policy to hold on for a long time. Look, this is the biggest excuse I've ever heard. He is saying the fact that the Fed is always ready to bail out my investment decisions means that I can't be running a hedge fund anymore. Basically, what he's saying is everyone's wrong except me. Everyone's wrong except me. That's basically what he's saying. Whatever. Look, I mean, it is what it is. And you know what's interesting? By the way, wrong answers in the chat. What do you think? Where do you think the investors that invested in Chanos' fund are going to go into next? But what's interesting now is I think this is just the beginning of a lot of these short gurus. And this is my problem with short gurus, is that everything is negative, everything is cynical. At the end of the day, everything's going to crap and you're wrong and you're wrong. And you know, if you, like, what's that saying, right? You know, they make statues of people that actually do things and not critics, right? It's you can look at anything and poke holes into it, but failures are the stepping stones of success. And that's what, in and of itself, I think the root thing that these short sellers don't get. And of course, I'm not saying there's not fraud out there, but I think the root thing that these short sellers don't get is that constant failure is how you get to success. That is it. We are prone to make mistakes as people, says William. Very true. Okay, but you know what's interesting? You know who talks about the Fed? Kathy Wood. We're going to get into her in a second here, but let me just catch up with the comments here. 1 second. I had some startup too. T. Nelly says, at what point does Elon's fiduciary responsibility to shareholders outweigh his need to tweet and thus negatively affect stock price? That is it. That is the billion-dollar question right there. Does he have a fiduciary? I guess legally speaking, I think so, right? Because that's why he was kicked off as chairman of Tesla by the SEC from that settlement, whatever, years and years ago. By the way, I think he can get reelected if he wanted. But at the end of the day, here's my logic with this, okay? It's actually quite simple in my head. I go like this. Would I prefer Elon to not say certain things that rile up communities or cause divisiveness, even in the short term? Yes. But if you duct tape someone like Elon, they're not Elon anymore. At the end of the day, the genius that operates Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, you know, the list goes on. It doesn't operate in that paradigm where they can be duct taped to what they say and still continue to operate at this, you know, a master level. So for Elon to be Elon, he has to have this way of operating, and he needs, like, he that's just the way he operates. So if you were to change the way he is, he would not be the way he is. And that would be detrimental. So that's the catch-22 here. Jupiter says, do you expect a next-gen vehicle unveil alongside the Cybertruck delivery event, kind of like the Semi and Roadster event? I wouldn't hold my breath for that, Jupiter. And you know what? I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but the rumor out there is that the Cybertruck delivery event, they're going to deliver 10 Cybertrucks. You know, I don't know. I'm not saying I'm disappointed, but I'm just, yeah, I don't know. Yash, great name, says, hey Yashu, thoughts on Kathy Wood? Her funds are down crazy in the last 2 years. Funny you say that, Yash. Let's hear from Kathy Wood, and I've skipped to specifically the Fed and Tesla. Oh, the Fed and Tesla, because I think those two, and by the way, I should probably label what I'm talking about here as I go. This is very insightful what she has to say.
Moved back to their benchmarks, moved into cash, huge amounts of cash on the sidelines. Now we're getting more prints again that are saying the Fed probably has overdone it. And you just listen to quarterly company calls, and you'll listen to these management teams, and we have lots of callbacks with managements, and they say, why are you the only one seeing recession? Why can't the Fed see this? This is what we're going through. And I do think the Fed is using lagging indicators for monetary policy, which is unfortunate.
By the way, I just want to say, everyone likes to crap on Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, and I guess understandably so if you've been an investor and funds and performance is quite, let's just put it, dismal, right? But in my head, I am able to disassociate her trading firm strategy, whatever, from the research side of what she has to say and her team has to say. Now, I don't take everything verbatim what they have to say but in the same way that, sometimes you look at the bear thesis of things and you try to dive in and go, okay, where potentially am I wrong on this? It's the opposite pendulum swing when it comes to ARK Invest and Cathie Wood. Now, everything they might say might be a little bit too bullish and too exciting, but it's okay. I can taper that down, but I still need to know, what are they seeing on their other side of the pendulum swing, on the ultra bullish side, because it really helps me paint more of a middle ground of where I think we might be headed.
Turn to some of your individual holdings, but just quickly, what does 2024 look like for ARK, for your strategy specifically?
I think we paid our dues during 21 and 22. We were down in 21 when the market hit all-time highs, just on the expectation of rates going up. And then on the reality of rates going up, we were crushed in 2022. The market has discounted what the Fed has done. I don't think the Fed's going any further.
You heard it there. She says that she doesn't think the Fed is going any further.
Market can feel comfortable that that is indeed the case. We don't have to have rates even come down. We think they will, but we think that certainly our strategy has discounted the worst. I don't think value stocks have discounted the worst of the cyclical part of the recession. We tend to be recession resistant. The last leg here is going to be consumption. And we'll see how the holidays fare, how deal-driven consumers are. We think they're really deal-driven.
Yeah, we're starting.
I gotta say, I think this is one of the few holiday seasons that we're gonna see very weak demand. I don't know if this is just my bearishness speaking out a little bit, but I do not think, and let me know in the comments, it seems like to me there's this level of apathy when it comes to deals this holiday season where people are just like, yeah, I mean, like, prices have been so high, now you're bringing them down by 10%. I'm supposed to think it's this massive deal. I don't think so. So I think this holiday season and this Black Friday that's coming up, Black Friday always kind of drives me nuts, to be quite honest, because as a Canadian, we don't have Black Friday up here technically, but because America does it, we've all started to do it in the last 4 or 5 years. It makes no sense. But let me know in the comments. Do you guys agree? This holiday season, I don't think demand will be as high. I think it might actually surprise on the downside. Just looking at the economic metrics, households are way higher in credit on general. And here's the problem is that I don't think retailers have understood the fact that they need to bring down prices, bring down prices with not just disinflation, but deflation for them to meet demand at where it needs to be. Xandra, I hope I fixed the audio a little bit there. I turned off my mic during the thing. Hey, Eric, how's it going, man? Good to see you in here. Martin, I'll start your questions for the next one, and I'll read off some. Oh, I got to catch up with the chat in a second here. But let's get into Tesla and Cathie Wood and what she has to think about that.
Okay, I want to turn to some individual stocks.
Okay.
I wouldn't call it a lightning round, but I want to dig into a couple things. When we're talking about consumption, when we're talking about concerns, you would think it's going to affect one of your top holdings, and that is Tesla. Mm-hmm. And we've been hearing some commentary from the company that is not that positive. It's fallen to third in your portfolio. Mm-hmm. Is that why?
So what we did earlier this year, it was especially in July, summer months, we looked at Tesla up 150%, and many of our multi-omics names in the life science space, they were negative for the year. This is portfolio management kind of 101. Huge profits there, losses here. Let's do some rebalancing. And so we did that, but we did not sell after their quarter. And we did hear Elon loudly and clearly, and we had been anticipating it. Consumer demand is weak. All that Tesla's price cuts have done is offset the interest rate hit. So really, the monthly payments haven't gone anywhere. Tesla will continue to cut prices because it can. Its technology costs are falling, and it's profitable. You'll notice that the GM and Ford have basically pulled back on their EV strategy and said, we can't do this unless it's profitable. Well, this is chicken and the egg. It can't be profitable for them, just like it wasn't for Tesla, until they scale. So if they're not going to scale, they won't be profitable. Meanwhile, we do think the consumer preference shift towards electric vehicles is in full force. And, you know, there will be demand destruction on the internal combustion engine side of the business. It won't disappear overnight, but the share gains will go to electric.
So no fundamental qualms on Tesla.
No, in fact, the GM and Ford pulling away tells us Tesla's market share in our 5-year investment time horizon is going to be higher than we thought. So absolutely not. Have we bought any back? Well, as I mentioned, many stocks during the summer period had, you know, waterfalls, especially in the multi-omic space, because they tend to be earlier stage, much earlier than Tesla.
So you preferred to buy there
So
rather
we were
than
buying
on a
because we
Tesla.
really do believe we're at the end of the interest rate move.
There's one more stock I want to ask you about, but it's not one that you own.
Oh.
You can probably guess, maybe.
NVIDIA.
So what's interesting, and now she's talking about NVIDIA, and we don't really have to get into that, but she says specifically, and she tries to actually explain her trading strategy and what sort of curves she's trying to hit. That's why she's selling out Tesla and buying those smaller names. But that's the problem, is that so many times she has to explain her flawed, if you want to call it, trading strategy at the expense of her airtime of actually learning about robo-taxis and where she sees that going. Because let's be honest, I mean, we're a month and a half left until 2024, and FSD V11 or V12, pardon me, robotaxi launch. Like, these are all things that should be in the back of our heads, but it's really not, right? That's the problem. Can we hear about some sort of robotaxi plan, or some, like, Waymo and Cruise have shut down? Like, can we hear about how we're going to start launching robotaxis maybe in the next 2 years, 3 years? But not hearing about that so close to the end of the year, with that being the slated goal, I mean, is not great. But I guess we'll see. Elon, I remember last week someone said, yeah, Elon already told us it's going to be 2 weeks until V12 comes up. I mean, I won't hold my breath whenever Elon says 2 weeks on anything, but I guess we'll find out. I start some stuff here. Jay says, consumers are holding up well and fully employed. Not sure why you feel the way you do, Yasha. This is about my comment about, I think holiday season will be a little bit weaker. I don't think it's actually, so you don't actually need the consequence to happen. You just need the expectation of something happening for demand to weaken. And I think the expectation across the board is that fees are going up everywhere. Costs are going up. Interests are already high, of course. So if you're renewing, auto loan, whatever it might be, costs are just high and going higher. That the expectation of that is going to bring back demand this holiday season. I guess we'll see. I just don't think we're going to have a gangbusters Q4. That's all. Ibrahim makes up a really ironic and funny quote, and he says, the YouTuber who says ads are good are using ad blockers. Surprise Pikachu face. Hilarious. Thanks for calling me out. Now, the reason why first of all, I pay for YouTube Premium, so that's why you don't see ads there. Second of all, the real reason I have ad blocker on my Hit That Bid Chrome, and I'm not making excuses for it, I swear, is because one time earlier on when I was streaming, I would get some really whack ads, like some really weird ads that would pop up in the middle of my stream. I couldn't close them. And at the risk of not being demonetized on YouTube, I said, let's get all ads on YouTube. And obviously I pay for YouTube Premium, so I'm not going to see ads on here anyways. But thanks for calling me out. Peryon says, I see 82 likes on the stream. Folks, how many likes have we got on the stream here? Let's see here. We got 96 likes. If you're watching here, if you like the content, hit subscribe. Appreciate you guys tuning in on hopefully a happy Sunday, whatever it might be. Yeah, some raunchy ads is probably the best way to describe it. I swear I was on totally kosher sites. I actually I don't even remember what stream that was, but anyways, we don't have to get into that. Hit like if you're new here. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet already. If you're watching on replay as well, let me know if you made it here on the replay as well. Okay, so enough of that. Kathy Wood, ARK Invest. What else do I got here? So this brings up the main debate, okay? And so as I'll pull up Webull here for a second, will Elon have to sell more shares? And I'm starting to see this argument pile up, okay? I'm just going to pull up the chart here for a hot second. So here's the bear argument, if you want to call it this. Elon seeing Twitter traffic go down. Elon is seeing some weakness. And so what's happening is that Elon, in order to increase traffic on Twitter, on X, is posting these very, let's say, divisive or, stuff that he thinks might get a lot of attention, good or bad. And so it's to increase traffic. But the problem now is IBM or Media Matters is kind of, or ADL has instructed their advertisers to pull off. So Apple's pulled off, IBM has pulled off, and these massive advertisers now pulled off. So we're now in this kind of opposite flow of like, okay, now we are in this point of time where, okay, is traffic actually, or is advertising dollars actually massively down? And maybe it is. And the issue now is, will Elon have to sell shares? Will Elon have to sell shares if advertising dollars continue to go down on Twitter? And it seems like every 3 months we have this, every 3 months we have this kind of a coup happening on Twitter. It doesn't actually make much sense to me what's happening half the time. But actually, hold on, let me just pull this up here. Okay. So, there we go. Let me catch up with the chat here. You guys are laughing at the raunchy chats. Yes. Eric, don't divulge our secrets here. Thank you, Per Johan. Oh, by the way, so in the chat, I'm trying to pin this thing here. I can't do it because this freaking thing's in the way. I threw in the chat a StreamYard link if you want to hop on and chat about anything from this week, good, bad, or ugly. Whatever topic, feel free to. You can join on your phone as well, as long as you have a decent mic, and a camera. Any smartphone should work. Feel free to join the show. Let's see here. Jay says Elon may need to start selling Tesla shares in 2024 if X continues to struggle. He can't monetize SpaceX unless Starlink goes public. I doubt he'll sell his stake in SpaceX. Actually, so I think what Elon specifically said. Oh, yikes! Hold on. What happened here? Hold on 1 second, folks. Gotta clean up my chat box here. Hold on. Okay, there we go. I think specifically what Elon said was that he's not selling shares in 2024, and probably not 2025. But I don't think he promised about 2025. So I think that's where we're at with him selling shares. But again, I raise this concern because, and Marcus says, I've never seen an ad by IBM, Apple, or Microsoft on any social media platform. I have. Trust me, I have. I'm not sure what area you're in, but maybe it's geo-specific. I have, for sure. IBM, especially on Twitter. I don't know what it is with their Twitter ads, but I guess they kind of think that they can target the kind of nerdy IT guy, if you want to call it, on X. I'm not sure if I just called myself out there. Sanchez says, yeah, should you get a producer wife? I really don't think Abby really is down to produce anything on this channel, to be honest. I asked her if she wanted to come in for a hot second before she left on stream, because it's been a while since she's showed herself on stream, and she just pretty much ran away. So, yikes! I'm not sick. I just got something in my throat here. Let me get some water. 1 second. Okay. Okay, so let me catch up here. Hold on 1 second. See here. Again, folks, join the stream if you want. I've seen lots of Apple's and Microsoft. Starlink needs to go public. Sell shares of SpaceX. I don't think that's going to happen per se. Let's see here. Any other questions? Throw them in the chat. So Sanji says more oil and gas companies are going to license supercharging infrastructure for their gas stations. For sure. I mean, we saw that last week with another announcement. Look, I think it's interesting, and I will call out the double standard that I kind of have sometimes. Like, we look at someone like Lucid and we go, okay, Saudi-backed, hilarious that they're trying to get into EVs, all this sort of stuff, and kind of give them flack for it, right? But at the same token, if they weren't going into EVs, we would also give them flack, right? Like, we would say, look at these guys, all they care about is non-renewables and oil and internal combustion engine. That's all they care about. But so I guess there's a degree of credit that we do have to give to even the Saudis when it comes to Lucid and trying. Now, is Lucid going to make it? No. But do I wish they make it? Yes, I do. Let's see here. Eric, question saying, would an X IPO create a counterbalance by investors to the forces looking to derail it or him. Well, actually, so I'm getting so many calls right now. Actually, Elon actually clarified this. Let me try to see if I can find the tweet. Elon actually clarified saying it's not accurate because there were some rumors going around. There were some rumors going around from about the X IPO. Inaccurate. Let me try to find it. If anyone knows, has it off the top of my head, off the top of their, so maybe someone could tag me on it on Twitter. But basically, someone tweeted, "Oh, X is looking to go public, and maybe Elon can sell shares," and he said no. Was that X or was that SpaceX? Man, I totally forget, actually. Someone in the comments can tell me. But would an X IPO create a counterbalance to the investors? So the argument for that would be, okay, if a company goes public, guess who can buy in, right? Guess who can buy in? BlackRock, State Street, all these mega firms. Mr. Fink can buy back into your company and start doing all that he wants to do with pushing agendas. I mean, look at Apple, right? I'm not saying it's BlackRock owns a lot of Apple, right? And so they can, and they're actually on the board of directors of Apple as well. So they can dictate certain initiatives that they want. And so that's why you see Apple, for example, pull ads off of X all of a sudden, because Tim Cook gets a call from Mr. Fink, and he goes, "Hey, you better pull ads off of X. I do not at all want to support what's going on here with X because it's really killing business for us elsewhere." Tim Cook goes, "Okay, sir. Okay, master. Here we go. Let's turn off ads." That is it. That's how it works. Blake, how's it going? So by IPOing, I guess you could probably make an argument that they could buy into companies like Apple or companies like X and then control. But okay. Let's see here. Gotta hit the juju. Yes. I'm gonna drink some juju. Why no juju lately? Alexis, great point. Or maybe it's Alex. The issue is not juju, right? I love juju. I have juju. I'm converted my morning coffee into juju. The thing is, I'm actually fasting. I'm not eating anything today. So I'm just having black coffee and water. That's all I'm doing. And so the problem is, as you guys know, juju is caloric. That is the problem. Blake says, do you think Elon tweeting advertising leaving X would hurt the stock? Should he sell in perception? We actually had a good conversation about this earlier, Blake, but it's catch-22 with Elon. You don't want to tell him not, like, don't do this, don't do that, because that's not how Elon operates, and that's not really what makes him. But at the same time, could he do without it? Probably. Hey, Brian, huge congrats to you. Brian says he's just found out he's having a daughter. Hold on. I think I got something for you, Brian. Hold on. And this one as well. Brian, congrats, my friend. That's awesome. Not legal advice saying Saudis will make Lucid the brand of the kingdom. That's if they survive. There we go. Sander. Week Black Friday sound like a Canadian. Yes, I do, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Oh, it was Starlink. Okay, it was Starlink. Yeah, so Starlink's not IPOing. Okay, so he hasn't said anything about X. But remember, Elon hates companies he hates taking companies public. He hates the idea that Tesla is even public, probably secretly, because he wouldn't get the amount of flack that he's getting to do certain things if it was just a private company. Like, we don't see people talking about how Elon tweeting something is affecting Neuralink or Boring or SpaceX. Like, it's Tesla. It's because Tesla is the only public company. So, okay, how many Cybertrucks will be delivered during the event on November 30th? Okay, wrong answers only. Actually, no, let's not do wrong answers only. Let's do right answers only. What's your honest to goodness guess of how many Cybertrucks do you think Tesla will deliver on November 30th? By the way, I think Farzad's going to that event, and if anyone else is, let me know in the chat. But I'm talking to Farzad. I'm interviewing him, I think, on Wednesday. He's coming on the channel sometime. Priyon says, Yash, do you think Tesla will pull out of Sweden rather than unionize? I think if they had their way, yes, they would. I do not see Tesla wanting to unionize at all. So, I mean, they might pull a Walmart and just get out of town. Oh, Xander says, Elon says, just inspected the Starlink or the Starship launch pad and it's in great condition. No refurbishment. No refurb. Oh, happy Sunday, folks. No refurbish. Whatever. Needed and so-called steel water plate. Folks, I'm telling you, Sunday morning, these streams, I cannot talk. I don't know what it is. I just literally cannot talk. Maybe it's the fasting as well. People are calling me. Like, I've gotten like 4 calls. Like, what is happening? Refurbishment. Okay. This is hilarious. Xander says, not secretly. He stated that Tesla is private, and that's why he takes it private. Yes, but since then, he's kind of obviously reverted course a little bit. Okay, so 42 Cybertrucks, 100, 10, 18, 69 on November 30th, 30 to 100, 12, none. Ooh. 20. Look, listen. I could say it. I'm not going to say it. It's over. It's over. And for everyone that makes fun of me with NVIDIA and me pronouncing NVIDIA the way I do and other things I pronounce wrong, you just got some fodder, right? But once in a while, I mean, you look like an idiot on stream. It's just the way it goes. Blame the fast. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. I will 100% use that as a backing for an excuse. Oh, nice. 72-hour fast. Yes. So actually, it's funny, Eric. I was like, oh, maybe I should do a water fast. And then I was like, maybe I should do a 3-day fast. But the issue was, I was like, let's start with a freaking 1-day fast. And the cheat kind of I have is like, I'm still drinking black coffee. That's kind of my cheat, I guess. But I figured like black coffee is just bean water, right? Like, so 10 Cybertrucks will be delivered, some Tesla executives said. So I agree with Digital. Digital says, I want to see 100 or more delivered and external clients. So I agree. But this is the issue, is that if only 10 are delivered, like, it's just a semi-event on steroids. Like, where are the specs? Where are the price? Where is the Cybertruck pricing? You know, we're like 10 days away. Where's the Cybertruck pricing? Where's the specs? What, like, how long is the wait list right now? Like, these are the things that we should know that we don't, which honestly, it makes me a little bit nervous, and it gets me a little bit less excited. Mimi says they're not unionizing. That's not the issue. Some workers are already union members. It's about signing a deal with the union. There's a difference. Interesting nuance. See, it's all about nuance. Actually, it's funny, Mimi. I wish you could come on and talk a little bit about that later, but no pressure. 22 NVIDIA, yes, as you guys know. Alrighty. I need some refreshments. That's awesome. That's awesome. I should do something like that. Awesome. So Xander says, who's coming to Austin for the Cybertruck delivery event after party? Okay. So I have it on my list to go to Cybertruck, or to go to Austin in 2024. It's on my list. Maybe it's going to be on the way down to Florida or something. We stop in Austin, but it's on my list because I was supposed to go last year. 2 years ago for, what was it? The Giga Texas launch. That didn't happen. Kind of things got busy. I think I got a little bit sick, but Austin is on the list for this year. I've already been to Dallas, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with Dallas. I just don't know if I would go for just Dallas. So I think Austin has to be piggybacked on that. Actually, Eric and I have been to Dallas actually, together. So, okay. Awesome. Well, folks, let me pull this up 1 second. I hope everyone has a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Thanks for joining on another live stream. 1 hour flies by. And you know what's funny is when I clip parts of this out, I see a lot of familiar faces, and I get some messages sometimes of people saying, Yash, I'm glad you clipped this out because I had to leave for 10 or 15 minutes and I didn't catch this segment. So if you want to go back and watch any part of this segment, feel free to. I'll clip everything out later in terms of YouTube clips and all that sort of stuff. Have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Take care of yourselves. Remember, put your phones away, go for a walk, go to walk your dog or whatever you need to do to get some mental clarity and mental energy back for the week ahead. Be well, everyone. Thank you. I see all the comments flooding in here. Take care of yourselves. And remember, it's never a boring time in Tesla land. Literally, no matter what happens, everything can flip with one tweet here or there, one controversy here or there. But really, I mean, at the end of the day, that's what makes this kind of fun for us, for us to talk in and to jump in and go, you know what, let's talk about this and be right or wrong about it. Who knows? Much love. Yash signing off. Take care. If you want to join the Juju Gang, feel free to patreon.com/hit that bid. Become a YouTube member. Connect to your Discord account there and join a couple hundred members that we have. Awesome members that we have on Discord. So many of them in the chat here. Thanks to our mods as well. Much love. Yash signing off. Take care. Peace.
Fly me to the moon. Let me play among the stars.